Hi, everybody. Yep, it's just Goldilocks and me here for our every couple of days cuppa. Cuppa. This is a cuppa. Somebody emailed me and said, "What is a cuppa?" It's a cup of coffee. And here we are for a little daily. We'll have a cuppa. And this is my first of the day. The way that you can tell is that it's black and it's not, it doesn't have the keto or the ghee or the butter in it. And when I add those things later in the day, I don't add a ton of it, but I like it either black or blonde. Isn't that funny? So here we are, and I'm getting some new subbies, and it's always funny to hear their response to me. It's like, oh, it's so nice to find an older person who isn't 35 and barely dressed and hasn't lost 100 pounds in 3 weeks. And yes, we've been sitting here all along, just aging together and enjoying having a metabolism that is just revved up and, it doesn't cause us any distress. After I eat, even the biggest ribeyes that I've eaten, I don't have like all these gyrations in my stomach and everything else like I would if I ate that amount of ounces of keto or even a standard American diet. My body's not just doing all of this in my you know I've never had GERD or anything, but I know that those that do, man, it's a killer. And I guess there's not enough tablets in a bottle of Tums to make it go away unless you take something daily. But I love feeling the way that I'm feeling. Um, it, it it's just become such a way of life that sometimes I can't remember what it was like with all those choices, and it's funny because my name is Sarah Pearl. And of course, Sarah Pearl, the world is your oyster. Ha ha. And it was my oyster. I thought that having the choice of anything that I wanted was just fine. I thought that my metabolism was ironclad or steel or just, it wouldn't backfire on me. And, none of that. I don't know, like somebody was saying that they didn't know about carnivore. I mean, would I have done it at 30 or 40? I don't know. But I'm glad whatever it was out there in the universe led me here, led me to make videos every day and meet my incredible friends slash support here. I couldn't do this without you, and I don't want to. When I wake up, and I'm an early riser, just always have been, and I wake up between 2 and 3 in the morning, and I still set an alarm just in case, like I ever need that. And I wake up, and of course, I get excited because it's like, oh, you can have coffee. Doesn't take much to get me going. It's like when I used to have cats, like way back there was still electricity, but not much. It wasn't around that long. But I used to have a like electric can opener, and you like press it down, and it goes like. And I don't have one now because it's usually the tabs, and the cats would just come running every time they'd hear that electric can opener, and that's how I am when I think of like coffee. And so I lie there and I say my prayers. I'm very, very grateful and appreciative for all I've got and all that I can live with at this point. There's just I don't have that busy brain, that turmoil, that chaos, that trauma, that filled with emotions about like screwing up yet again over last weekend. And it's funny because you think that a couple of days of, I don't know, maybe fasting or just getting strict or writing it down or pulling out the chronometer again, and this time it's going to be different. And it's like, how can you make up for that past? How do you make up for a weekend of filled with regrets. What do you got in your plate there? Well, I've got this I'm going to regret, and this I'm going to regret, this I'm going to regret, right? And then, the cocktail I'm going to regret. And it's like, I don't care. I need a break. And I'm sure you've even watched some videos of some people that we think are kind of disciplined. And when they decide to go out, they go out with a bang and have what they want to have. And sometimes they come back and tell us about it. But if you've been with me or here doing keto and carnivore for the last 5 or 6 years, I'm sure that we could all come up with 100 people that did videos all the time. They would do grocery hauls. They would do product reviews. They would do what I eat in a day. They would, there were a few of them that were like, get ready for work with me. And it was just all the initials. And all these people that did all these videos, like, wham, they come upon the scene. And it's like, it's not like a crash and burn, but where are they today? You wonder, did you just kind of fall back into that standard American diet? Did you get enticed by Weight Watchers' 3 different versions to find the perfect you? To lose weight like Oprah? Oh, excuse me, I forgot. To lose weight? No comma, like Oprah. Sorry, meow. But anyway, to look back and see the people that were like frequently here, and now where have they gone? And I listen to some of us that are still doing keto or carnivore or in the middle, that little carnivish thing that a lot of us like. And, rarely do we hear what they eat. It's mostly about processing the day, processing emotions, processing, I don't know, even their lab work. And so it is funny how, for me anyway, being an older woman and wanting health as the priority, longevity suddenly kicks in, and wanting to keep going with this energy level, with this mood, being able to sleep without a shoebox of meds, it all becomes something that suddenly becomes the priority. And even though I've said my health is my priority a number of times here on my own channel, when I think about it, it's health with longevity, right? Don't we want to go the distance feeling the way that we feel? I don't want to lose my capacities. Let me just put it that way. And so I enjoy what I do. I've said recently here that I've reintroduced a few supplements. I was listening to a female, I think it was a female doctor that does carnivore, and she was talking about women in particular and our hormones and just our bodies, and saying that, don't feel like, when you hear other people talk about not taking any supplements, don't feel like you're a failure if you go back to taking them, that they are important. I also heard one doctor say that if you take thyroid, it's not something that you necessarily want to get off of. The thyroid is totally different, and paying attention to it. I think I could go to school for 4 years about thyroid and still not be able to read what those numbers mean. But that's okay, because I have an NP that will describe it to me. So I do take 50 mcgs of thyroid. I do take 400 milligrams of magnesium citrate. They seem to say citrate, although I have a couple of bottles of magnesium glycinate, which I guess is absorbed better, but there must be something in the citrate that suits our bodies better or more efficiently. I take 5,000 units of D3. I take a quarter of a teaspoon of no salt or low salt. They're both kind of the same for the potassium. And I drink about a liter of Gersteiner mineral water, and then I have Redmond's, Celtic salt, and pink Himalayan. And, I've heard some reviews of pink Himalayan that it's just, they color it to make it look like it's pink Himalayan, and it's not. I don't know. but Redmond is my go-to for my meal. And the Celtic crystals are like in this little tasting dipping dish, and I literally do that twice with my warmed lemon water with the salts in it as I take my supplements every morning. And then it's done, darling. It's just done. And then I can go on with the day. Do I feel better after taking my supplements again? I think I do. I think I feel a bit better. I do. And so I will continue. I do have a whole bunch of other ones that I just stopped taking because I thought Carnivore would be one, one steak serves all purposes. But I am glad that I've let them back in. I watch a lot of videos all the time. I love when they have the group confabs, like at the end of a conference or something like that. I love listening to guest speakers at these conferences. They teach me a lot. I know that I have put on maybe 3 pounds. I don't weigh anymore, but at my last weigh-in, I noticed that I had put on like 3 pounds since I began Carnivore, 1/2 pound here, 3/4 of a pound there, that sort of thing over the last 5 to 6 months. And everything still fits the same, but I guess there was that nutrient grab because I wasn't having enough protein for decades, and I probably wasn't having the same nutrients that you get out of a slab o' beef. Just saying. I don't know. I'm not a scientist, and I don't hang on to the why so much as the how I feel after I eat it, how it suits me. I know that just the act of eating a chewable meat, which is usually steak for me, sometimes pork, like I'm having country ribs today with some ribeye. Does it get better than that? I noticed that a chewable OMAD, rather than a just couple of chews and gulp, suits me better because it's a dining experience. So by the time I go through 30 minutes of the cutting of the steak and the eating, it takes a while. And my body, head, all of it just says, you've enjoyed dining on your OMAD, girly. And it's a nice thing. And you're almost done. And then you can do your dental hygiene routine, which tells your body that you're done. Time to shut down, digest a little before you go to bed. It just works for me. I've done it for so many years. And when I had that nighttime eating thing, I don't know if any of you still struggle with that, but the nighttime eating thing was awful. And there would be people, just like the people that say, just have a little of everything. There were people that just said, well, just switch from having ice cream to carrots and celery for your snack. It's like, are you freaking kidding me? My sweet compartment down here that is now locked and bolted, thank you very much, but it had to have sweet. It wanted to have sweet. It didn't matter if I made a pig out of myself with a regular dinner, an unsweetened dinner. There was always room for a 2,000 calorie dessert. There always was. I'm a pig. I'm a food addict. I'm a sugar addict. I'm a carb addict. And so I had to tame my nighttime eating because it was out of control. And, I was living alone, just me and the cats. The cats weren't reporting me to authorities about it. And so, I used to have this thing where I'd get into bed and I'd turn on the TV and I'd have my little, whatever. And the cats could lick the plate, bowl, spoon, fork, whatever afterwards. And it was like this little routine. Well, how do you give that up? Well, I had to put in the rule, no food in the bedroom. That took care of that, and I did honor that. So then I just got used to eating in the living room after my unsweetened dinner. And it still was a very hard habit to break. So then I got into the dental hygiene routine after I ate the unsweetened dinner part. And that began to work for me because I'd go in and I'd floss and I'd water pick and I'd, brush my teeth, and I was done. It was just like a done girly thing. You're done. You're done. Stop. All right? And then I would settle in for a couple of hours of guilty pleasure TV. Well, that's still my routine today. There's no nighttime eating. I got the snacking thing down. I figured that thing out, and I heard people talk about it. And then in one of, I think it was probably the Obesity Code with Jason Fung, because I think I have that book. I think I have it. Anyway, at one point in the book, at the end of a chapter, I think, Jason Fung wrote, "No snacks ever, never," or something like that. And it was like definitive. It was like, there's only one way to say no snacking, and it's no snacking. And you aren't special. You aren't a princess. You aren't a prince. Your body will set it up once again for all the insulin spikes, and your body kicks in. It's like, oh, food is coming again. Let's do what we do. And trust me, you're not in a fat burning mode when your body is kicking in to process that snack. So the less times you use a knife and fork to eat something, the more your older metabolism is going to like it. So if you get down to, and they say that when you see little things about longevity, you'll see that they don't eat as much as they ate before or as often as they ate before. And so when I began to practice the OMAD, I didn't trust that it would work. I remember Mike from, at that point, it was KetoMad, now Carnomad. And, he was doing OMAD, and it was kind of like diving off the deep end of the pool. It's like, I'm scared. And, it's always like, it's when I'm watching the 600-pound videos, and the people are starving. As soon as they wake up, they have to start eating. And, I know that feeling. I was overfed and undernourished for so long that I couldn't separate. There was just like, if it's breakfast time, I'm hungry. If it's lunchtime, I'm hungry. The head has to go through a whole bunch of undoing, of literally emptying out and getting on board with, like, if you eat just once a day, you probably will get used to it, and your body will like that. I have the grumblings, as I've told you before, when I've done overnights, I've done that, like, at 6 a.m., my body says, some bacon, eggs, and sausage would be good. Maybe put some cheese on those eggs, too. And it's like it's 6 in the morning. I'm not eating for 8 or 9 more hours. So I just tell her, go away, go away. And I ignore the signs, even though, I'm not dying to eat. And I'm not going to die if I don't eat. But it's just my body. It's like Ms. Slick's metabolism, right? It's like I got two metabolisms, Ms. Slick's and mine. And she's, trying to convince herself that she's hungry and she needs to eat. So she starts working right here where there's still a little bit of common sense and the power to say no to her. Because she's always vying. She's always vying to eat, get me into trouble, whatever. Ms. Slick is just what her name is. She's very slick. So I'm happy to be here. I'm happy that you're here. Thank goodness. I'm glad you're not young. I'm glad I'm not young. I love being this age and having this second, third, fourth, fifth chance at just doing a nice OMAD carnivore for the most part, for the whole part, and having the gradual stages just happen in my life like they probably have happened in yours. And here we all are, and we've made it, and now we can enjoy it. Isn't it nice? I love my OMAD carnivore. Thank you so much for being here. This has been Sarah, Pearls of Wisdom and Food with Carnivore. I'll see you the next time. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye for now.